Ever wondered how to create an HTML file? Well, let's unravel the mystery together. HTML, or hypertext markup language, is the standard language for creating web pages. It's like the skeleton that gives a web page structure. But how do we write this code? Enter text editors. Text editors are software that allow us to write and edit text, including our HTML code. There are numerous text editors out there, but for beginners, we recommend starting with Notepad for Windows users and TextEdit for Mac users. As you advance, you might want to explore professional text editors like Notepad++, Sublime Text, Vim, and others. In this tutorial, we'll focus on Notepad and Sublime Text. These tools are like your canvas, where you'll paint your HTML masterpiece. So, are you ready to create your first web page? Let's dive into it with Notepad. Notepad is a simple text editor, making it perfect for beginners. If you're just starting out with HTML, the simplicity of Notepad, available on all versions of Windows, is a great place to begin your journey. Let's dive right into creating your first HTML file with Notepad. To start, we need to open Notepad. You can do this by searching for Notepad in the Start menu, or locating it in your list of installed programs. Once you have Notepad open, you're ready to start writing your HTML code. HTML, or hypertext markup language, is the standard language for creating web pages. It's composed of a series of elements or tags that tell the web browser how to display the content. For example, to create a heading, you would use the h1s tag like this. h1, your heading here is /h1. Don't forget, all tags should be enclosed in angle brackets. Now that you've written some HTML code, it's time to save your file. Go to the File menu in Notepad and select Save As. Here's where things get a bit specific. You need to save your file with either an .gm or .gml extension. This tells the web browser that it's an HTML file. So if you want to name your file My First Web Page, you would type myfirstwebpage.tml in the file name field. Once you've saved your file, it's time to see your creation come to life. To do this, navigate to the location where you saved your file. Now either double-click on the file or right-click and select Open With. Then choose your web browser from the list. Like magic, your HTML code is transformed into a web page right before your eyes. Remember, practice makes perfect. The more you experiment with different HTML tags and attributes, the more comfortable you'll become with creating web pages. Now you know how to create an HTML file using Notepad. But what if you want to use a more professional text editor? That's where Sublime Text comes in. But we'll delve into that in our next segment. For now, keep exploring and experimenting with HTML in Notepad. Happy coding! Sublime Text is a sophisticated text editor, ideal for more advanced coding. This power-packed editor comes with a plethora of features, including a slick user interface, fantastic performance, and extraordinary functionality. Its rich ecosystem of plugins and themes makes it adaptable to any coding style. With Sublime Text, you're not just editing text, you're shaping and crafting your code. So for those who've mastered the basics and are ready for a more professional tool, Sublime Text is your go-to. Ready to level up your HTML skills with Sublime Text? Let's go. Creating an HTML file with Sublime Text is not much different from Notepad. Just like Notepad, Sublime Text is a text editor, but with a few added features to make your coding experience smoother and more efficient. To get started, you'll need to have Sublime Text installed on your computer. If you haven't done so already, you can download it from the official Sublime Text website. Once you have Sublime Text open, you're ready to start writing your HTML code. Like any other text editor, you can begin by typing in your HTML tags. Sublime Text has a handy feature called syntax highlighting, which colors different parts of your code to make it easier to read and understand. This can be a great help when you're trying to debug your code. After writing your code, it's time to save your file. Go to File, then Save As. In the dialog box that appears, choose the location where you want to save your file. Now, this is important. Make sure to end your file name with .gml or .htm. This tells your computer that you're saving an HTML file. To view your web page, just like with Notepad, you'll need to locate the file in your computer's file system and open it with a web browser. The steps are quite similar to Notepad, but you might find that Sublime Text's additional features make coding a bit more enjoyable. And there you have it! You can now create an HTML file using both Notepad and Sublime Text. So, what have we learned today? We've delved into the world of HTML and text editors, exploring how these powerful tools help us construct and manage web pages. We've come to understand that an HTML file is simply a text file, and to create one, you need a text editor. We started our journey with Notepad, a beginner-friendly editor available on all versions of Windows. We've learned how to write HTML code in Notepad, save it with an .htm or .html extension, and then open it in a web browser to view our work. Then, we moved on to Sublime Text, a more advanced editor. We repeated the steps we took with Notepad, but now in a more professional setting. Now, you're not just familiar with these two text editors, but you've also learned the basic process of creating a web page. Now you're equipped with the knowledge to create an HTML file. It's time to start coding.